Hello guys, I'm doing a Ethereum US dollar weekly daily 4-hour analysis with the supply and demand methodology. I'm gonna make sure, I believe my last Bitcoin video kind of messed up a little bit, so I'm gonna make sure the thing doesn't freeze. So let's start off with our weekly analysis. So it looks like Ethereum went past $1,500 by the time when Bitcoin was on its rage up. But first, what I can tell from this trend is up. You don't get open low high close candle. I mean, during this whole period, you probably could draw your momentum line like that. Either way, let's map out our weekly levels. I have this as a weekly zone. Those are weekly levels up there as well, but this level up here is a nice weekly zone as well. I'm not going to deny the fact of this one neither, just all due to the removal of these levels down in here. Currently, is there anything interesting that happened in this era? Any interesting demand zones we should be aware about? There's a $4, but Ethereum is currently trading around 200, so those shouldn't be any worries. But as of now, the trend at that time period, you have to read the full story. So what am I going to catch up on is pivotal point there, later then we broke that level there. You guys can see we have this weekly downward momentum line. These two pivots, they're recently conjoined due to the removal of that demand zone. If you could argue that wouldn't be a pivotal point, so you could just go ahead and say that's your pivot. Either way, we have weekly demand down here. Since that was a drop-based drop, it was removed, however. So this down here also became, but it actually looks like that was removed as well. Look at that. Supply and demand in its works. You guys see that? This was a weekly downtrend, weekly downward momentum line break, creating weekly demand. Prices came back and touched it, and now we're off again. And that was the first test of it. And that happened around April 2020. I believe that. Oh, that was the coronavirus. Actually, that's when the coronavirus hit. It's dropped from 200 down to $89. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Alright, so that was a big move down there. Just a lot of volatility in it during those times. But these are demand zones that's been removed. These are the supply zones that were removed. So once we know that, we could check out, downward momentum line. Can we draw it? Yeah, we could draw it, but it looks like it's all been removed. Even say like this demand right here has been removed. So knowing that this demand there was removed, we can go to the top of this and mark out that weekly supply. We have a weekly drop, base, drop. Looks like this base here has actually just been removed by price action over on its left. And so what we can do is actually mark this out. We removed weekly drop base drop supply. Now keep in mind that market now looks like we're in this little range, Let me go ahead and open this up. So we're in this range. Do we have ability to draw an upward momentum line? Well, as a matter of fact, we do. On that Bitcoin review, we did not, but on this one we do. But wait, we have 2 days to see if we are now in a sideways market, which we might probably be. But if the candle actually, we have 2 days, as you guys can see, for the week. So the candle closes, say, like that, we would still be in an uptrend. So we're going to say a weekly uptrend. We have our weekly demand here, weekly supply up there. So we want to trade with the trend. Well, let's go into our daily time frame. So on this daily time frame, what can we tell by our trend? Our trend seems to be more so towards the downside. Why am I going to say down? You say removal of this, and then to have the ability to draw that downward momentum line. I mean, you could argue, again, you could argue at this point that that would be your momentum line, because we did get that low, but you gotta remember that this was the last pivotal, and then we got another pivot up here that made a new low. So I'm gonna go with the first one I drew. And so knowing that, I'm gonna mark out some daily demand zones inside of the weekly. And what I see here is this daily supply, daily demand here, daily demand down here. We have two very nice levels of daily demand. We haven't enacted the weekly supply as of yet, so as of now, weekly demand is in control. So with weekly demand in control, I'd be a more higher probability chances to go long, as long as weekly supply hasn't been hit. So our daily trend is currently down. Removed a daily, yeah, you guys can see here more clear that weekly base drop was traded through, as you guys can see. So this was valid, and guys, you know what that means. You know what that means. I don't have to tell you guys. That means when we remove a valid demand zone, it means that qualifying supply takes control once we remove a qualified opposing level. So by being that opposing level removed, right, I don't know when it removed actually. The low you can see at the top left over here, the low is saying 1767, 1810. Oh wow, this was the low that broke it. So from this, what can I tell you? That is our daily supply level. That is daily supply right in there. That's a daily supply level you want to be shorting at, looking for shorts in there. I recommend looking at longs in here. For set and forget, you have 2 days to tell you the weekly's not down. So the set and forgets, I don't know, I don't play set and forgets, but if I were to play set and forget, I would actually like to make sure I'm going long in here, down here, possibly down here at this level, possibly in an extreme on the 4 hour. But we know that's our daily supply. This is our next daily demand. The 4 hour, how can we play this out on a weekly, daily 4 hour? The 4 hour trend is, remove that. The 4 hour trend has just broken. We haven't removed this whole demand level though. So when we have those removals of zones just like that, we can call, once we have these breaks of upward momentum lines, we can actually graph that as a 4 hour supply level. So as soon as that gave us open, low, high, close, we're in a sideways. Here's the 4 hour demand I was talking about. We're now sideways in this range. If we check this out on the daily, we are currently in equilibrium. So we could buy or sell, no matter, more so, yeah, we could buy or sell, whatever shows opportunity. And currently with this trend being the weekly demand in control, it would be smart to look for longs, but I'm actually going to wait my bias on this is long due to weekly demand being in control, and that opposing weekly supply hasn't been hit. Weekly demand's in control. The daily's now down. We're gonna wait here, get our intermediate time frame confirmation, and see what happens. So definitely set your alerts here. This will be an interesting watch, and that would be my analysis for this Ethereum USD. Thank you very much.